The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Hi, I'm Jesse McLeod. Welcome to the final instalment of Jesse McLeod's The Journey.
Jesse McLeod, former rugby great, healer, prophet, motivational speaker, and your leader.
What you're hearing there is a wee snippet of a film that won and took out the 48-hour film festival back in 2004. It was called Jesse McLeod, The Journey. And to talk with us more about the 48-hour film festival and the call for entries, it's the man himself, the guy who put it all together in the first place, Ant Timpson. G'day, the Ant.
Hey, Wammo, how are you? Good morning. Breakfast. Hello.
Hello. We still call you the director of the 48-hour film festival, don't we? The director.
I think, yeah. Whatever works, really.
The orchestrator.
Yes, the guy who pays the bills. I think.
Indeed. God, can you believe it? We're 2011. The film festival, the 48-hour film festival, been going for many years now. What was the first year?
2003. It started, and it was inside the Incredibly Strange Film Festival. It was like just a sort of small segment inside the festival. There's more of a sort of lark. It's not, limited time filmmaking wasn't really invented by myself. I saw the idea overseas and thought it was a great idea. So the concept was an international one. There's still various sort of competitions running around, but for some reason New Zealanders sort of embraced it more than, per capita more than anywhere else in the world, and sort of run with it, and some really great talents come out of it. But yeah, in 2003 there were just 44 teams the first year, which was a lot more than I expected. It was just one city as well, which was Auckland.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was an interesting insight into how things were going to develop from there. And one of the guys who won that year, Gerard Johnson, went on to do. He won it again actually 2 years later, the whole thing, the Grand Champ. So that he went on to do the Jackie Brown Diaries, and now he's got a feature film, The Escalator, the new New Zealand Film Commission fund. So it's quite interesting to see the progression of people who succeed in the competition come out of the other end and actually just keep trailblazing, really, in the industry. It's a
real incubator, and as you say, it has grown, and so many more people are now involved, and so many more cities. In fact, it's even gone out to the provinces, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, every year there's someone in a city that loves the event and has been travelling to other cities, and they think, look, I want to be involved, and sometimes take up the reins in the city. Like the woman, Tanya, who's just fantastic, who used to run the Gisborne event, she said she was moving to Rotorua and said, well, what do you think about starting up a chapter there? And we were like, absolutely. Just to see the filmmaking coming out of that area would be fantastic. So more variety, more spice of life. So this year there'll be teams coming from Rotorua as well as Taranaki, which was a new region last year as well. So yeah, we're truly getting everywhere. I don't know if we'll get down to Bluff any day soon, but Dunedin is as far south as we go at the moment.
Let's take a wee trip back in time, back to 2004, when Jesse McLeod, The Journey, took out the 48-hour film festival. Then tell us about this one.
Yeah, well, this is an all-star lineup of talent, really, comedic talent. They had a lot of the people who were involved in the classic comedy club itself in Auckland, and of course you had Radar, Jolly Bruff, and Lee Baker, various writers for Eating Media Lunch. So it was a really great team who put it together. They actually were so lax in the completion of the short, which many say is one of the sort of greatest 48-hour shorts ever created in the 9 years of the comp. What happened is at the end, I think the whole team managed to have a Saturday night off and watch the All Blacks play as well. So they weren't one of these teams that just melted throughout the entire weekend. They actually got a good night's sleep on Saturday. It was very well orchestrated. I think the script came down to some just great writing, which is really why the film has had such a long-lasting appeal. It doesn't seem, it's pretty timeless, the idea. It's like the story behind it is just so perverse. It's about a family euthanasia tape, basically, like a cult suicide tape, where this sort of very excitable Johnny Bruff character who plays Jesse McLeod is got a step-by-step process, a VHS series called The Journey, about how a family can shuffle off this mortal coil together in harmony. So it's absolutely one of the most sickest ideas, but it's presented lovingly and beautifully shot, and they've actually managed to tie in a sort of like a nice little linking segment with a couple of guys burgling the house and watching the tape, and then there's a beautiful capper with one of the random elements that we had that year, which was had to have ice in the film, and it's beautifully tied in with how this ice comes in to be a final twist in the tale of the short. So they just managed to, basically, they were given 3 genres to choose from, and I remember back in those days, and they managed to incorporate all 3 into their film. It was just an extraordinary piece of script writing.
So has the rules changed somewhat over the years?
Yeah, we haven't played with the format too much because it's so easy to go off the rails. I mean, one year when we were having sort of, random elements each year, there's a character, a line of dialogue, and a prop. And I remember one year just, accidentally there was 3 elements that sort of sounded kind of fine, maybe not independently, but when you put them all together, it ended up with a lot of films just being absolutely disgusting and gross, which was a character who was an animal lover, and then the prop was a banana, and then the line of dialogue was just something that when all 3 became together, it was just like, okay, here we go, we're going to have a lot of bestiality films coming out, which was not the intention, but it was just the way that the elements sort of worked out. So, yeah, I know last year we introduced a new element, which was a camera shot, which was something we thought would be fun, and people really loved it. It was there's a famous scene in Jaws when Roy Schneider's on the beach, and it's called a dolly zoom, basically, where it looks like the background is stretching out behind the character when he first sees the fin in the water. And so we said that we wanted a dolly zoom, and so it was interesting to see how people could incorporate that into their film. So this year we're always about surprises. The genres, we always mix and match and try to include new ones, or even ones that we might invent for the competition itself.
And of course it depends on what's going on in each city at the time. And I remember a few years ago for the filming night, one of the filming nights for the Christchurch leg of the 48-Hour Film Festival, there was a fog that came through, and that seemed to feature in many of the films that came out of Christchurch that year. And of course, after the earthquake, no doubt, I'd imagine the landscape of Christchurch is going to feature pretty big in this year.
Yeah, I mean, the environment and what happens in the weekend really plays a huge part of it. I know, like you were saying, that fog, we had one in Auckland one year as well, and it was just made a lot of horror films just sort of go through the roof and in terms of atmosphere. And I know that there's a lot of Christchurch teams. It'll be really interesting. We didn't really know if we should even put it on in Christchurch this year because it just seemed so frivolous with what was going on, and the only way to sort of address it was to maybe make it absolutely free if people wanted to do it, not sort of, to just leave it open for them to just make the decision. And they've embraced it. Basically, more people in Christchurch have signed up than Auckland at the moment, which is crazy. So it's looking like a huge year down there. So
I think they need to do it because so much has been cancelled over the last month and into the future as well that they need to do it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I just think, from what I know, there was a lot of teams who were personally affected by it from the CTV building. So there's a lot of people just like want to get over that sort of being stuck in a stasis mode and not, just waiting for things to happen. So they want to get out there and create. If you're an artist and you want to create, it's kind of stifling not to be able to do it. Not that, they can't just pick up something, a pen and paper, but the 48 is a really great collaborative community spirit, guerrilla spirit, but it's still about a bunch of people getting together for a weekend, and I think it'll be extraordinary what comes out of there at the end, hopefully.
Absolutely. Now, you should go and register. Grab your cameras, pick up your teams, register online at www.v48hours.co.nz. Registrations do close on May the 1st, and we're also running a competition here on Kiwi with it as well. After you've registered, you must go and register your team, get your team name and text it through to 3013 using the keyword V48, and you go in the draw to win a Panasonic Multimedia TA1 HD camera, which is a very nice, tiny, pocket-sized 8-megapixel camera. It packs a massive punch. You can take photos, record videos, and even chat on Skype apparently with it as well, all in high definition. And no doubt might come in handy for your team in the competition as well. So thanks very much to V, Panasonic, Kiwi FM as well. And remember, imagination costs nothing.
Except the entry fee.
That's right, yeah. So go to v48hours.co.nz. And we look forward to catching up in the next few weeks. Next week, of course, and we will look back at some of the greats of the V48 Hour Festival. Thanks so much.
Thanks very much.
Track